Hey everybody, it's Ron Johnson, and this is the Ron Johnson Show on Locked On Sports Minnesota. It is legit football week. Now, we did have Gophers football last week on Thursday, but I mean, until we get to Cal, Oregon, Ohio State, like it's still tough for me. Northwestern State, I don't know if I can get excited just yet, but the Vikings are playing Monday Night Football versus the Bears. So it's football week, and we got Levi Drake Rodriguez joining me in the Hanger Ron Johnson segment. And we got to talk about what the season outlook is going to look like for the Minnesota Vikings. We got that much more coming up next on the Ron Johnson Show.
Locked On Sports Minnesota Podcasts. It's endless Minnesota Vikings talk with the diverse voices of your local experts. Now the Ron Johnson Show. On the field, in the broadcast booth, Ron Johnson is Minnesota sports. He's played with them, hung out with them, and grown up with all the big names in Minnesota sports. They're hanging out with Ron Johnson. It's the Ron Johnson Show on the Locked On Sports Minnesota podcast. And it starts now.
Welcome, people. It's Tuesday. Special plays by special players. And we got one of those special players joining us in the Hanger Ron Johnson segment. That's Levi Drake Rodriguez, the Vikings' newest. I guess he's going to kind of be a starter or a pinnacle piece of this defense because Harrison Phillips is gone. We also have to talk about the Gophers. Drake Lindsey, first game out. We also got Drake. We also got JJ McCarthy in his first game out. So there's a lot going on. We got Drake Lindsey, Levi Drake Rodriguez. I mean, we might have to talk about Drake the rapper, but I don't know what we're going to talk about today. But I do know it's a loaded sports show because it's game week. Gophers play on Saturday. Vikings play on Monday. I absolutely love it. I cannot wait for some football, but I want everybody to know today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Football season is around the corner. It's here, people. It is here. So make sure you visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now. Please understand, you can bet on if the Vikings are going to cover versus the Bears. If the Bears are going to cover versus the Vikings, that's an easy one. Figure it out. I'm going to tell you, the Vikings are going to win. The Vikings are going to beat the Bears. So there you go. There's a little tip for you. Please, JJ McCarthy, make it look right for me. I know the Vikings have a lot of injuries, but they got Adam Thielen back in the building. That's kind of gotten quieted down a little bit. But this week is going to ramp back up when you see Justin Jefferson and 19 and 18 back on the field together. I can't wait for that. And so as I bring my co-host into the show, my producer, Sam Ekstrom, I'm excited this week, Sam, because we got football. We got football today. It's raining. I don't know where you guys are watching the show from. I don't know where you are residing when you're consuming this content, whether you're on YouTube, Amazon Fire, Roku. We appreciate you guys. Or if you're just listening on the iHeartMedia app, wherever you get your podcast, we thank you for joining us. But make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Just go to it. All you need is an email address. Once your email address is in your YouTube account on your phone, boom, hit subscribe. It'll give you all the updates because all season we're going to have guest after guest after guest. I got Courtney Cronin. We're going to have a special interview with Courtney Cronin coming up this week, most likely tomorrow, because we know she works for ESPN. She covers the Bears in Chicago. She used to cover the Vikings in Minnesota. So, I mean, what better person to talk about this Vikings-Bears matchup than Courtney Cronin, CC as they call her, not Chris Carter, Courtney Cronin. She'll be joining us this week. But Sam, Vikings, Bears, here's the thing, man. It's going to come down to me. I got some key questions I want to ask Courtney about this week, but for me, it's going to come down to quarterback play. 100%. Like, you could say whatever you want about the running the ball, run game, offensive line, all that stuff, but the quarterback, because the quarterback can change the protection. We've seen that with Anthony Richardson, not really, like, he should have slid the protection the other way, understanding that that guy at the top of the screen that was in the box was not going to come because he had to cover the slot receiver. Down at the bottom, there was no threat. There was nobody for that guy to cover. So he came off the edge unopposed and just absolutely got ran into, killed. I think broke his finger, dislocated his finger, lost his job to Daniel Jones. I don't know if the finger had anything to do with it or just the lack of understanding the offense. But you got Daniel Jones getting the start job there, which is why Daniel Jones picked the Colts over the Vikings. He wasn't going to start for the Minnesota Vikings. He wasn't going to outplay JJ McCarthy. Anthony Richardson, he kind of knew, here's my shot. I had a little bit of time with Kevin O'Connell. And here's the thing, if Daniel Jones goes out there and throws for 4,000 yards, Sam, can we give Kevin O'Connell like a trophy or something? Like, does he get more credit? I mean, he got Sam Darnold paid. He just got Daniel Jones a starting job. Like, I mean, I know it hasn't. We got to wait for the season, so everybody's gonna wait for that first game. I think it's this Sunday the Colts play, so we'll get to watch that because there's no Vikings football. So this is the funnest Sunday for me. I get to coach my daughter in softball, and then I get to watch football because I don't have any other team to worry about. I mean, I'll be preparing for my Monday night pregame show and all that stuff and postgame fan line. Hopefully you guys are calling excited on Monday night about the game and people aren't calling in upset. The postcast with you, Luke. And, it's interesting to see how this is all going to play out. Monday night could be exciting in Minnesota or it could be sad clowns. It could be a lot of tears. It could be a lot of balloons being busted. A lot of kids going to school Tuesday morning sad. Or Tuesday morning going to school with their J.J. McCarthy jerseys held high, with their Justin Jefferson jerseys flaming, and Adam Thielen. I think the Adam Thielen jersey is about to get a revamp of sales here in Minnesota because he had so many followers and fans. People were sad when he left, and now he's back as a savvy veteran to help out this J.J. McCarthy, Justin Jefferson bit until they get Jordan Addison back week 4. And then, and who knows what's going on with Jalen Naylor. My guess is the Adam Thielen was important because Jalen Naylor probably isn't 100% ready to go right now. So I think all signs point towards that, where you're going to see Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, TJ Hawkinson, Miles Price type of offense. I mean, I think, I saw the Vikings just post up one of his touchdowns again for Max Brosmer. So I'm like, are you trying to tell us something? But Sam, that's my takeaway. My key to this game is the quarterback. It 100% is going to come down. Can Caleb Williams not do what Caleb Williams normally does, which is run around like a chicken with his head cut off and throw ridiculous passes thinking he's in college? And then you're going to have a Josh Metellus pick. You're going to have a Blake Cashman or Ivan Pace maybe pick. You're going to have a potential strip sack fumble or gink interception. And then you're going to have a Viking celebration prepared for Chicago, Sam. I don't know. What is your key?
Yeah, well, just to touch on yours, I think that a lot of people are talking about the element of surprise with Ben Johnson taking over the play calling with Caleb Williams. What is he going to have up his sleeve? I'm sure he'll have something. But there's also the element of surprise giving Brian Flores a complete offseason run. True. So what's he going to throw at Caleb Williams to confuse him? And I think Caleb Williams, with all the new pieces around him, he's going to give you some gifts. He might set the protection wrong and take a sack. He might get flustered at a nickel blitz and throw an interception. He might fumble I think he's going to give you something. So can you take advantage? Can you be opportunistic? That's going to be the J.J. McCarthy key is, can he take advantage when given opportunities in the red zone? How will the Vikings perform? Will they run the ball in the red zone? Do they go to Thielen in the red zone? What's the play when they get inside the 20? These Monday night games, Ron, on the road, division rival, to start the season, the crowd's going to be electric. I mean, they're bought in. They believe at this point in the year. It's going to be a tough atmosphere to play in, so we're going to learn a lot about J.J. McCarthy. But I think we're watching these two offensive lines too, Ron. I mean, they both remade the interior of their lines, both teams. Vikings have 3 new pieces. Bears have 3 new pieces, I believe, maybe 4. So how's the protection going to be? And how will the quarterbacks navigate the pocket, if things break down? That's what I'm going to be watching really closely.
Because today is the true day off for the Vikings. So I got a fun chance this weekend, a blessed opportunity this weekend to be on the sideline for the University of Minnesota, where I'll be for most of the season. And, I might even do some like Ron on the scene stuff. I know we got that coming up, in the next segment with Levi Drake Rodriguez. I was able to catch him at the Gophers game. So who had Levi Drake Rodriguez at the Gophers game on their bingo card? I don't think anybody. I mean, Sam, did you see that coming?
No. What's his alma mater? It's somewhere in Texas?
It's Commerce or something. Commerce Tech something like, I forgot what he said, but he says it in the interview because he talks about he came from like Commerce straight to the NFL. So it was he never had a chance to like be because we were talking NIL, we were talking transfer. And, if that was the era of football, he said maybe he would have, taken that next step his senior year and gone to like Max Brosmer. We talked about that, like going from a Commerce putting his name in the portal. Maybe the Gophers pick him up to be their D tackle, knowing he's an NFL prospect guy at that point, because people were talking about him, not like drafted, but like, hey, this is a kid that's going to get a chance to go out and maybe not make a roster, go out and make a camp and get invited to camp. So maybe, Illinois, maybe the Gophers, maybe, Texas A&M, because he was down there. Some of those schools that you wouldn't necessarily put. I'm not saying like the Alabamas, the Oregons, the Ohio States, the Michigans, but there's a lot of Power 4, because I keep forgetting there's not 5 anymore, but the Power 4 schools, what was that, Pac-10, I think got knocked out of the Power 4 now? Poor Pac-10. Sorry, Pac-12, whatever you guys were. I don't even know what you guys were. Rest in peace. But I'm looking forward to that, though, as we go through the rest of the season, so make sure you guys tune in for that. But, Sam, when you're looking at the Vikings versus the Bears, and I'm looking at all these numbers, so some names are jumping out to me. But, by the way, people, the Vikings numbers have changed. The official roster of numbers have changed. Miles Price is 4. Dwight McGlovern is 6 now. So Nudie has a better number. Nudie 6 shooter. I don't know what you want to call him over there, but Nudie McGlovern has number. Jeff Okudah has changed his number as well to number 8. I don't know what the meaning of that is. Ben Urasek is 85. Javon Hargrave is 97, and Bo Richter is 98. And of course, Adam Thielen is 19, and Carson Wentz is 11. But when I'm looking at this team, Sam, my other question, I'm going off of your point, Brian Flores has a lot of time to get ready for Caleb Williams.
Yep.
Does Caleb Williams have enough time to get ready for Brian Flores? Because I feel like, we've had Theo Jackson on. He talked about the defensive looks and the ability. Here's where I say, for people to understand a little bit about defensive looks. If I'm a quarterback and I come to the line of scrimmage, I identify corner, safety. 2 safeties walk down. So now I'm going to say it's something like a 2 shell, cover 2 shell, 2 safeties, 2 high, but they come down. In my mind now, I'm thinking either 0 or 1. Because I'm like, it's hard to get back to 2. But then you see the corners go back. So now I'm thinking maybe off 1, maybe off 0, or one of these safeties is going to go back cover 3. All of a sudden, the corners go to the middle and become the safeties. Safeties run out, become the corners. Linebacker drops on the middle. They just went back into Tampa 2. That can throw off a quarterback who's not prepared for that. And that's the cool thing about when you watch Brian Flores and you watch the ability for players to choose, like within a motion, like a guy can motion across and he can literally yell, I got the back, meaning he's going to run back now. You take the motion guy. That's a lot tax of a young, because we're not going to say he's a rookie. He had a full season already, but still a young quarterback with a new coach. Now, Ben Johnson is familiar with Brian Flores, and that's where I go with this, Sam. Was it Jared Goff that killed Brian Flores' defense, or was it Ben Johnson? Like, does Ben Johnson have the key to Brian Flores' defense? Because he had it with Detroit. Now, again, was it Jared Goff being able to read what Ben Johnson's telling him he's going to see? Or is he just going to have Caleb? Because that's the thing, Sam. We're all going to watch this on Monday night. We're going to have our popcorn ready. We're going to have, I don't know what you're having for dinner. I think I'm having chicken wings already planned out. Either chicken wings or chicken breast. I'm not sure what my wife wanted me to do. But I told her because it's a Monday night game, I can actually use the Traeger. And so I can put on a nice chicken breast, a couple chicken breasts, let them actually be smoked with some smoked sausage on the side, a little dipping sauce from Von Hansen's. Looking forward to it. I'm already getting hungry thinking about that. Little roasted corn. The State Fair is gone. Minnesota State Fair, sad times, it's gone. But it's gone, so roasted corn now will have to be done at home, Sam. Do you think Ben Johnson, in that first, 2 drives, is that going to tell us what the night's going to be like? Like, if he comes out in those first 2 drives and Caleb Williams goes 7 for 8, and he's finding the right guy every time, and they score a touchdown and maybe a field goal, and the Vikings are down 10-3, are you nervous at that point?
If I see Caleb Williams knowing exactly what to do against the blitz, particularly the 0 blitz when it's 3rd down and 6 and the Vikings send 7 guys. If Caleb Williams looks poised and he looks like he knows where to go with the football, he's got Colston Loveland in the flat, 1st down, then I'm saying to myself, okay, Ben Johnson has been coaching him up. They were running scout team 0 blitz looks all week, and Caleb Williams was taught exactly where to go with it, just like Jared Goff last year. Now, Jared Goff is a whole lot savvier at this point in his career than Caleb Williams. So while I'm sure Caleb Williams, Ron, is getting the instruction from Ben Johnson, what will he be able to do with it? Mm-hmm. Will he be able to translate that to the moment when the Vikings are flooding the defensive line with 8 players and he doesn't know who's going to blitz? What does he do in those moments? Because that's where Jared Goff killed us, right?
Yep.
It was the third downs against the blitz. He would
Yep.
get it out a split second before he was going to get hit. Caleb Williams has not been that decisive in his career. So is this a blitzing game for Brian Flores? That's always the question I ask. It always seems to be, yes, it's going to be a blitzing game because I think he wants to fluster and force Caleb Williams into mistakes.
Yeah, and Caleb Williams, I totally agree with that, Sam. I think this needs to be a mastermind game. So like when you're playing chess, and I don't know if you ever watched Bobby Fischer, the movie. Do you remember Bobby Fischer, the movie?
No, I'm more of a Queen's Gambit guy.
Oh, okay. So Queen's Gambit. I like that one too. I didn't know what that was about until I found out it was chess, and then me and my wife watched that one too. Mm-hmm. Bobby Fischer is similar to Queen's Gambit. No, if I'm not mistaken, no alcohol in Bobby Fischer. I know Queen's Gambit, she had a little problem. But no alcohol in Bobby Fischer. It's been a long time since but there was a clip somebody just posted about 3D chess. And in the movie, Bobby Fischer offers a draw to the kid. He's like, hey, he reaches out his hand and the coach is like, what is that? And he's like, he's offering a draw. And he's like, what? And so in his mind, the coach thinks that's being disrespectful. Like, why would you disrespect me to offer me a draw because I have you beat? Like, are you trying to save face? And he's like, no. He's like, he's actually being respectful because he doesn't want to embarrass the kid because he sees the way the guy, like he already saw the 4 moves ahead. So he was already 4 moves ahead of this kid knowing like there's no way you can beat me with what you're going to do because I know what you're going to do. And I don't remember what happened. So go watch the movie, people, if you haven't seen it or remember that scene. I don't remember that scene, what happened. My guess is the kid didn't take the draw and Bobby Fischer beats him fast. I don't know. But that's what I wonder. Like the chess moves of Brian Flores. Can he not blitz enough to make Caleb Williams question when the blitz is coming? Because that's the tough thing. Is like anybody with a gun that wants to shoot it, you kind of know what to expect. Oh, he's got a gun. Let me get the other way. He got a gun. But then he walks by you with the gun and he doesn't pull it out. And you're like, could have shot me there and he didn't shoot me. And now you're questioning, when is this guy going to pull the trigger? When is this guy going to shoot? And so if he can make Caleb Williams question when it's going to be blitz versus just drop 7, drop 6, drop 8, whatever you want to call it, I think that's the key. And I don't, honestly, I don't feel like Caleb Williams is a guy that can beat you. Like if you can spy, I think Ivan Pace is probably just as fast as Caleb Williams, not faster. I feel like if you spy him with Ivan Pace or Nudie is the spy. Like you can spy with Theo Jackson now. Theo's in there. So you can spy with one of those guys. And we'll talk about this in the Daily 3 because I know one of those questions is coming up that could affect the 3 safety system early on this first game. But when you think about that, that's where Brian Flores has to figure out, what am I going to do to make sure Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson don't know? Because Ben Johnson's thinking what you're thinking, Sam. Every third down, he's coming. Like, I got to have you ready for this blitz. He's coming. And then if he doesn't come on the first one, it's like, oh, shoot. Okay, what is his game plan? What is he? Because your goal is get the ball out your hand. Like you said, get it out quick. So if you know that, you bluff the blitz and you cover all the quick areas. And then you have your safeties ready for that second. So you drop 7 guys and you protect that. You come with 4, drop 7, you protect the quick routes. You make him do all his checks to get it into a spot where you want it, and then you drop, knowing tight end, flat route, something quick we can get in his way. Then that next 3rd and 7, now he's like, crap, what is this guy going to do? Is he going to blitz us again? Is he going to drop again? And I think that's the thing. Brian Flores was always a blitz. So you just knew he's going to come. He's going to blitz. I got to get the ball in my hands quick. And you're right. That's where Jared Goff was ready for it. I'm not saying Caleb Williams is Jared Goff. I don't think he is. But I'm very interested to see what this is going to look like. Again, I don't know about you, Sam, but I'm super excited about this game because this is the one that can really give you a litmus test of like if the Vikings are really – if they blow the Bears out, they're really good. If this is close, you don't know. Like, is the Vikings good and the Bears are just really good now? Because we had Diana Rossini on and she put the Bears up there. Like, she thought the Bears were going to be really good this year. I think she put the Lions last, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember how she did it. I thought she went like Packers, Vikings, Bears, Lions. And she was just saying the turnover of coaches, you just never know. And I think a lot of people are saying it, even though Dan Orlovsky, I think, said the Lions are still the Lions. Like, you can't do that. You can't say that. So we'll see. But I don't know, Sam. This game, this is what everybody's been waiting for. This is what the Vikings have paid for. They got rid of everybody to have a first-round pick quarterback, so that they didn't have to spend a lot of money on a quarterback, which is why they let go of Kirk Cousins, which is why they probably didn't sign a big name like people wanted them to start maybe one more year, let J.J. McCarthy still learn healthily. Nope, he's in the fire. He's ready to go, full new meniscus. Key is, can the offensive line, and we'll talk about that maybe this week or next week, can the offensive line keep him healthy? I think that's the key to this. But we got to talk to Levi Drake Rodriguez. Looking forward to him. Caught up with him quick at the Gophers game, and we'll talk about that and have him coming up next after a word from our sponsors.
We're brought to you today by FanDuel. The NFL's almost here. FanDuel is making sure that you're ready for kickoff with this can't-miss offer. When you bet $5 and you win that first $5 bet, if you're a new customer, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. $300. That's insane. I'm checking out some of the Vikings-Bears props. They're posted. Passing yards. J.J. McCarthy over under 220.5. Receiving yards. Justin Jefferson 77.5. Rushing yards. Aaron Jones 51.5. Jordan Mason 42.5. What do you think? You can bet all those at FanDuel right now with a bonus $300 in your pocket. Makes every game exciting. Put together a parlay. They got live wagering options as well. So if you're ready to play, download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet.
Here with Drake Rodriguez, Levi Drake Rodriguez.
Yes, sir.
Minnesota Vikings D tackle, man. You've been here now 2 years.
2 years, going on your 2.
A lot has changed.
Yep.
Harrison Phillips gone.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you, though, as you're the next guy to kind of take over?
Yeah, man, it's a big role. He has some big shoes to fill. I learned a lot from him. Great guy, great teammate on and off the field. I love him, wish him nothing but the best, but this year has a whole another responsibility for me, and I can't wait to feel that.
So now, this is your first kind of big college stadium, right?
Yeah.
So do you feel like you're one of us now? Because I know you heard that about Minnesota
Yeah.
people. You've now experienced a Minnesota college football game.
For sure.
How is this?
Man, this is awesome. Seeing all this gold out, man, it's pretty cool. I was just telling them just earlier, we had a quarter of this, at my college, and went straight to commerce, straight to the NFL, and it was just a big jump. But this is awesome. I feel the love, no doubt.
And when you think about this upcoming season, like training camp is tough. You've been through 2 now. One kind of like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. The second one is kind of like you felt like you had it, but you never really know.
No, yeah,
when you saw that final 53 and you knew your name was on it, what was the kind of feeling you had?
Excitement. It's a bittersweet moment, no doubt, because you build relationships with people in the facility, man, and to see them go and part ways, it hurts, but it's a bittersweet moment, man. Making history not only for my school but for my family as well. So yeah.
And a lot of people, like, you were mic'd up as a rookie, and I remember that. A lot of people loved your personality. A lot of people love that you kind of let it come out.
Yeah.
Not afraid to be you.
Not at all. Not at all.
Where does that kind of confidence come from to just let it all hang out?
Yeah, man. My dad has always told me, be yourself. Everyone's already taken. So I stuck with that. But of course, man, the Lord has my confidence, has my soul, and that's where I draw that from. Yes, sir.
And heading to Monday night, everybody's going to be watching. It's the last game on. You got college football. You got Monday Night Football. And now you got Caleb Williams, J.J. McCarthy. How is that buzz? How do you guys drown that noise out of all the externals, knowing it's about what you guys want to do?
Of course. Man, we just got to focus on our team. Focus on the fundamentals and details that we need to execute and do our job during the game, and that's how we're going to come out with a dub.
And you look at your captains this year. Is there anything that you see from Josh Metellus that you're like, I know this guy can lead us?
Oh, dude, every day in the building. He's a bundle of joy. On the field, he talks, communicates, man. He's a great leader, yeah.
Well, appreciate you for joining me, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, as you look at Levi Drake Rodriguez, Sam, the biggest thing I take away from this, 1, Harrison Phillips is gone now, so he knows his role has grown. 2, Josh Metellus is their captain again. Harrison Smith is going to be out there for sure, but we'll talk about that at Daily 3, but potentially. But, Josh Metellus, him saying Josh Metellus is a talker, he's smart, he's a great guy, blah, blah. Like, it seems like everybody loves Josh, and everybody, and the coaches seem to love him. This is the players wanted him to be a captain. The coaches wanted him to be a captain. Theo Jackson talked about that, because I asked him, and you remember that, we had him on this summer, and I asked him, I said, what is your role? Cam Bynum's gone. Josh Metellus is kind of going to be the 2 safety with Harrison Smith, but you're coming in there. I was like, when you come in now, do you go in the box, or does Josh? He said, man, I let Josh do what Josh wants to do. Josh does what he wants to do. So I love that. But Drake Rodriguez, Levi was like, this team, this defense, strong, big, fast. Sam, when you look at that, Javon Hargrave, Jonathan Allen, now Levi Drake Rodriguez, you add these other little pieces here and there on this defense. They still have Jonathan Gennard, Van Ginkel. But when you look at these names, and you can go down the list of guys they've had, guys they've gotten rid of. When you think about, Elijah Williams now, that's one of those names where they're like, man, I didn't realize how good this kid could be. I didn't realize, because Drake Rodriguez right now is behind Jonathan Allen. So does it Jalen Redmond? Is he the new, the third D lineman in that group? Is it Elijah Williams has already put himself into the starter? Tyron Ingram Dawkins, he's going to be behind Javon Hargrave. So with all that said, that's the biggest question mark I'd say too, is who really truly feels that role of Harrison Phillips? Is it Elijah Williams? Is it Jalen Redmond? Because, Elijah Williams was a guy that flashed on film. Then all of a sudden the coach is like, well, we got to keep this guy. Again, I think that gave them the confidence to say, okay, it's okay to trade and get some pieces to this team and move on from Harrison Phillips, because does Harrison Phillips give us enough to warrant that salary? Or can we get away with it, these young guys, because we got these 2 older D linemen with them, in this 3-4. I think that's the overall key, is they liked what they had in these younger guys, and these 2 veterans coming in to help them out are enough. Sam, I don't know. Did you kind of get that idea too?
Yeah. The way I think of it is you have so much youth with Redmond, Levi Drake, Elijah Williams, and Tyrion Ingram Dawkins. So if one of them can emerge and be Harrison Phillips-like, then you're golden. You've saved money. You've gotten younger. You just need to hit on one of those dudes. Now, I think Jalen Redmond is probably getting the first crack at it. He's been on the team for a year already. He did some flashing last year, and I think he's gotten better this year. He's taken that next step. I think he's probably going to be third behind your big 2, Allen and Hargrave. Mm-hmm. But look out for the rookie. Tyrion Ingram Dawkins was getting some first-team looks, enjoying practices, getting a lot of time in the preseason. I think he's going to play a lot right away. And then you've got LDR, who we just heard from. And Elijah Williams, Ron, I would guess probably a healthy scratch early in the year. Mm-hmm. Give him some more time to develop. But I bet you he gets his chance. Maybe it's just for 12 snaps a game, but I bet you he sees the field too. When you have 2 old guys kind of leading the way, you got to have a heavy rotation. So I think that's how B-Flow is going to roll. Probably getting 5 guys involved game to game, getting fresh legs in there, getting pass rushers in there on 3rd and 8, on 2nd and 12, stuff like that, keeping the bodies moving in and out.
Because when you look at the Bears, they've added Joe Thuney, however you say it, from I think he's from the Chiefs, if I'm not mistaken. Because I remember when he was out there, I was like, man, should the Vikings go get him? Because they needed a guard. But no, they went and drafted one. But I know that was an option. You got Braxton Jones starting at the left tackle. You got Drew Dahlman at center. You got Jonah Jackson. That was another. He's new too, right? If I'm not mistaken, is Jonah Jackson another new piece they added?
Yes, part of that offensive line.
Yep. Because again, that was Jonah Jackson from the Rams, and then you had the other guy, out of Ohio State. But that was another one. When I was talking about getting offensive guard, that was another name that came up. Bears when he got both of them. Darryl Wright, right tackle. So that's a new offensive line kind of group together, and now this is defensive line for the Vikings is a new group, so it's a lot going on. You still got Cole Kmet at a tight end. Looks like they're going to go with a lot of 12 personnel because they have Colston Loveland, so they're going with a 2 tight end system. Colston Loveland and Cole Kmet will be out there starters, and you got Romeo Dunze at receiver, and then also DJ Moore. So they have some weapons. You look at their third receiver in Devin Duvernay. You got, Luther Burden the third. Is he going to be on the field much, or is he going to be more of the punt return, kick return guy? He's a guy that people thought might have went higher in the draft. He's a guy who thought himself would have went higher in the draft. And then you got DeAndre Swift and then Roshan Jones at running back as well. So this is a team, man. This is a team that when you're looking at the names, at least, you're like, they could be really good. They could be really good. And maybe that's why Ben Johnson, when he took the job, he's like, we got weapons. And then you draft Colston Loveland. That was the one, we talked about that name. That was the name we thought maybe the Vikings, if he was still out there, do they go get him? They ended up getting a guard in the spot that nobody thought they can get him in, but they got him. And that's what I wonder about this defense. This offense. Like, how can Brian Flores' defense flush them? But they have weapons. Like, I will give them that. And now is Ben Johnson the guy? Is Ben Johnson the answer to this team? If Ben Johnson and again, I want to see the Lions. I can't wait to see the Lions this week too, because everybody wants to see that. Like, is it Dan Campbell and the Lions, or was it Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn? And when you look at this defense, and Drake Rodriguez brought this up too, is they're good. They just have to find a way to like play together and stay healthy. I think that's the key, health. And, we'll talk about that in the Daily 3 coming up next. So we got that coming up next. We'll talk Daily 3 after a short pause. Well, now it's time for the Daily 3. That's 3 questions. We got time today, so we're spending about 3 minutes each. Take it away, Sam.
All right. Let's talk Gophers. Last Thursday, scale of 1 to 10, Ron. How would you rank Drake Lindsey's debut?
So, being at the game, you get a little bit of false narrative. I don't know if that's the word. And I was at the game as a media member, but I was also an alumni. Like, I did both. I did the pregame show, I do the postgame show, but then there's points in the game where I'm just on the sideline and I'm just a fan. I'm just a Gopher fan, former alumni guy. So there's some stuff in there as an alumni guy. It was awesome. It was awesome to see the fans cheering for him. It was awesome to see everything. Here's the thing, Sam. Side note. They did the screen, for Gophers in the NFL. Who do you think got the loudest cheers? Because you got Antoine Winfield out there. You got Blake Cashman, who was in the building, and the fans knew that. You got, I could go down the list, but you got and Ariante Ursary. You got Jack, Campbell, whatever his name is. I forgot his name. All those guys. Who do you think got the loudest cheers?
I'm gonna go Brosmer.
Yep, Brosmer over Antoine Winfield, which is so crazy. I don't know if it's recency bias because some of those kids, don't know Antoine Winfield that were in the stadium. Like they know him, but they don't know him. If you're a freshman, sophomore, because they gave out free tickets at one point to the rest of the students to fill up the student section. I know they did $10 tickets the last day as well to kind of fill up the stadium. It was sold out. So I'm guessing a lot of those students know the Max Brosmer story. They've been around, especially the current 4-year grads that are there. If you've been there for 4 years, this is your 4th year, your 3rd year, like Max Brosmer over Antoine Winfield. So yeah, Max Brosmer got a ton of cheers. Blake Cashman got a good amount too because he's with the Vikings, but I think it was just the quarterback situation recently had been there. They were super happy because Ariante Ursary was just some stadium claps, but Antoine Winfield was super loud too. Like they love a good Antoine Winfield story. So that was the cool thing about it. But when you look at Drake Lindsey's in stadium, it was great. Everybody loved him. He was making the right passes. From a points of the game portion, I would say I give him an 8. I think he did good, passing grade, but I think there's a lot to be desired there. There's some things he can get the ball out of his hands a little quicker because there were times where I was like, oh, throw the ball. And there was a receiver a couple times wide open on the corner route, and he dumps it off to a tight end who dropped on the interception or I think it was an interception or a drop. Corner route wide open, Logan Loya wide open, and he's like, I'm gonna just throw the over route. Through the over route, tight end drops it. So I think he's gonna go back and watch film this week. I know PJ's gonna make sure he did because that's our first question today on the PJ Fleck show. I got PJ Fleck coming up later today, and that's my first question for PJ Fleck is rate Drake Lindsey's day. And so I'll follow up tomorrow. We have Courtney Cronin as well, and I'll kind of give my PJ Fleck response. But yeah, I rate his day, and we'll see what PJ thinks. But I give him an 8. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, that sounds perfect. 8.5. Now the interception, not his fault. You pointed that out on
Correct.
Twitter. It's not a real
the ball.
interception. It's
Kicked the
off the
ball.
foot of a falling tight end. I thought he had a couple of ill-advised throws. The one in the red zone in particular that should have been picked, and wasn't. He got away with that. But there's a fearlessness, Ron, to throw it into tight windows. He hits guys in stride. He's on target, really good ball placement. He can throw it to the sideline. He can throw it over the middle. And it seems effortless. It seems like he's got a real cannon. It doesn't seem hard for him to make long cross-field throws. I know that the total points scored was low, Ron, 23 points on the board. But with a little better execution, they're scoring 40. I mean, you called for a 42 spot, I think, the day of the game. Could have been 42, right? Like they got stuffed on the tush push at the 10-yard line.
I hate when people get too cute on tush pushes, too. Don't put the tight end for that. Don't do that.
Yeah. Well, like there was some dumb stuff that happened, right? What else went down? They had the interception, obviously, when they were driving, settled for 3 a couple times. So like that score could have been way more lopsided than it was. I thought it was a great debut. I'm excited to see what he does against a real impressive defense. But don't overlook Buffalo either. Buffalo was a good defense last year. They got a lot of guys back, so that was not a slouch defense that he carved up.
They were. And Northwestern State should be an absolute bath, I would hope. You never know.
Northwestern State won a game in week 1. Apparently they hadn't won in a while. But they won.
I would hope that this is a bloodbath. I hope this is one of those games. Like I remember these type of games. Nothing against, like, we used to play Illinois State. We would play Louisiana Tech. Who else did we'd play? Like Bowling Green. Some of those schools. Nothing against them, but I feel like those are schools that when you're doing what and people, when I say this, understand. As much as you don't know, we were 8-3. We were an 8-3 program back then. We were beating Penn State. We were beating Ohio State. So we had really good pro level offensive like linemen. And so we'd be able to run the ball down their throat to the point where they were putting 8 in the box to stop us. And then I was getting a lot of one-on-one, and then we could throw the ball deep. So those were games where I was looking forward to 2 touchdowns, 144 yards on 7 catches, because they could not play us there was one team, I think my senior year, that were able to play us in a zone and kind of like shadow me. And that was my senior year because we were younger. We had gotten rid of all of our, like Ben Hamilton had went to the league. Like a lot of our offensive line went to the league. Our running backs, we only had Tellus Redmond. Marion Barber was a freshman and he didn't play much in the first game. Like we didn't know Marion Barber was who he was until like Big Ten play, because that's when they started bringing Marion in and they were like, oh, okay, this kid. I wish they had played Marion earlier as freshman year, but it's tough for night 1 to play a freshman as much as you play the senior, Tellus Redmond, because, you just don't do that. And then as Marion got more carries, then they were like, oh, okay, this kid's going to be really good. Because I think if we played them against Toledo in that first game, Toledo doesn't play the game they played against me, which is they put a safety over the top. They had a corner manned up on me and they kept a linebacker kind of in the middle. But I think Northwestern State should be one of those games where, whether it's Logan Loya, whether it's one of these tight ends, or whether it's Darius Taylor. Again, Darius Taylor needs some rest, though. He cannot, he already was looking gassed at times coming out. He fell on the ground. I think his hip, he got slung onto the ground, and that turf is hard. So he kind of hit his hip. He came back in, though, so he was fine, but it was just bruised up probably. So I'm hoping they can get, AJ Turner in there a little bit more to kind of balance out these carries, because 177 is awesome for all purpose yards, I think is what it was. But yeah, you don't want to get this kid hurt. Don't get him hurt.
How about this nugget on Northwestern State? So they beat Alcorn State last week. That was their first win since November 5th, 2022. And you won't believe the opponent. The opponent was Texas A&M Commerce. Levi Drake
Which
Rodriguez.
is Levi Drake Rodriguez. Was that his team? I wonder if he was on that team.
He would have been on the team. Let's see if he had any. He could probably tell you how he did in that game too.
Oh, I got to bring that up to him now when I see him next time.
Last team to lose to Northwestern State. I'm trying to bring up the box score.
Texas A&M Commerce was the last team to lose to Northwestern. How ironic is that? Like, I got to go buy a lotto ticket now, Sam. That is super ironic that I sat down, interviewed this guy. We're talking about the Gophers, and then we were able to connect it to Levi Drake Rodriguez is Texas A&M Commerce. Gave Northwestern State. I'm bringing that up on the pregame show. Thank you, Sam Extra. I'm going to give you a shout out too. I'm going to make sure they clip this so we can actually maybe retweet it from our account. I'm gonna get it from our network and make sure they clip that for me and say, hey, when I start talking about the last time they've won, I'm gonna bring up Levi Drake Rodriguez, and Sam Ekstrom gave me this clip because that's a nugget. I gotta make sure I got my notes ready because for people that don't know too, like I have to carry 2 notebooks because I have my Gophers notebook and my Vikings notebook, and I don't want to merge the two because I don't want to be flipping and then read a stat that's not for the Gophers or not for the Vikings and look stupid because I've seen that. I've seen a lot of people get on TV and say the wrong stuff, and I've learned my lesson not to be that guy. I do not want to ever be that guy, and so that's why I do. Like I'm actually headed to a place. They don't pay me to say where I'm going to get my notebooks, so I'm not giving them free promotion. But I am headed to a place today before I head down to campus and hang out with PJ Fleck a little bit, and I'm going to pick up my 2 notebooks because the season just started. I did have a Gophers one I used for this last game because it was an old one. I'm like, hey, I'll just use it for. But I like to have a new, fresh notebook. I'm kind of like Kirk Cousins. Like when I go through this thing, there's a bunch of notebooks in here from seasons past. Yeah. And I like to go back through and say like, oh, this was the 2024 season. I got 11 seasons worth of notebooks. And so that's why I love that because I can just take the notes. I take the notes for our show. I use them. I use the game stuff. I take like in-game notes for like first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth, just to remember like, oh, shoot, he did this. So I'm very meticulous, Sam. You know that. I love a good stat.
Yeah.
And so that's why I hate early in the season because I don't have stats early in this. Like there's nothing to go off of. Like the early games, I hate when people act like they're super prepared. There's nothing to talk about. Like there's not. Like why are you over talking stats in the first game? There's nothing to talk about. You could talk about last year what the defense gave up, but it's a totally different defense. You could talk about last year how bad the offensive line was for the Bears, but it's a totally different offense. You could talk about last year how bad the coaching was for the Bears. It's a totally different coach. So you can talk about the Lions and Ben Johnson, but it's a totally different team. So I hate that. Stop doing that. Like just get on TV and talk ball. That's what I do. I just talk ball. I want to talk football. Here's what I think they should do. Boom. Here's what the Gophers should do against Northwestern State. Somebody asked me like, do I think I can go out there and catch one more touchdown? A fade route against Northwestern State, yes, I probably could. No disrespect to them, but I'm still an athlete. I still can run a 4.6 40. So I feel 4.7 maybe. But I just rode my bike 12 miles the other day. I get out there every day and work out with my kids when I do softball. So if I had to pick a team to catch a fade route on, probably Northwestern State. I think I could do it, but not with this hand though. Not right now. I broke my hand. It's still hurting, so I would not even put myself out there to do that. But what's the next one, Sam? What you got on the next one?
Yeah, let's just general college football takeaways. We had 3 top 10 matchups in week 1, and I think the lower ranked team won all of them. Ohio State beat Texas, LSU beat Clemson, Miami beat Notre Dame. We also had Belichick getting embarrassed in his debut last night. What'd you like from week 1?
The people that everybody want to talk about do not always win. So I've learned to take notes on both teams because you never know which way it's going to go. They talked about Chapo Bill and UNC non-stop, how good he's going to be and his lineage and the Patriot way and all this other stuff. And TCU took him to the woodshed. And they did not have a ton of TCU content to the point where Kurt Herbstreit put his dog on TV with a headset on. Like, that's how you know you've lost it and you don't have anything to talk about right now. When you're willing to put your dog on TV. And I love Kirk Herbstreit, but that you could just tell it was like they were hoping Belichick came out there and had a day about himself. Here's what's funny though. Let's flip side this. If that was Deion Sanders had a bad day like that, they would be murdering him right now. They were empathetic to Bill almost to the point where like, oh, he's realizing like, you don't have these millionaire like linemen, you don't have these millionaire core, you don't have Tom Brady. Like he's learning. Like TCU is legit. So you guys should have covered TCU a little bit. But no, I learned that. And also Alabama's not the same without Nick Saban. Like Caleb DeBoer, good, but he's not Nick Saban. You're not getting the same recruits. The atmosphere is not the same. I hope Ryan Williams is okay. He got absolutely. And for people that thought it was targeting, watch the play. The injury is from his head hitting the ground. It was not the player missed him, actually. That's why I hate when DBs go in with their head down because he almost hurt his own player. He missed Ryan Williams and hit his own player. Ryan Williams' head hit the turf because he was ducking like, oh, Lord, here he comes. And his head hit the turf. That's what kind of gave him like a, whoa, what was that? Somebody said it was embarrassment that he dropped the ball, so he acted like he was hurt. I don't think that was it. Somebody said he was overacting to get a targeting call, maybe. But I looked at it. I think his head hit the ground, and that was the issue with it. But yeah, that was my takeaway, is just expect the unexpected. Like, college football is so diverse, and that's why it's so fun. Like, Miami beating Florida State. Florida State beat
Notre Dame.
Yeah, Miami beat Notre Dame. And Florida State beat Alabama. Like, that's the one thing you just don't know. You could talk all week about their number 2, their number 3. That's why, like, Minnesota going to Ohio State at number 3, you never know. You never know.
And Arch Manning almost getting shut out, too, by Ohio State.
Yeah, that was another one. Everybody was talking about Arch Manning all the time. I picked Ohio State. Thank you very much. It's on TV. It's in the archive. Justin Gard and Pierre Nugent picked Texas. They picked Texas because Texas is number 1 and Texas is Texas. Man, Ohio State is better. They're bigger. They're stronger. Like, I know ball. So I can't wait to get on the pregame show this Saturday to remind those guys I picked Ohio State.
Yes, you did. Last one, Harrison Smith, mysteriously out. I hadn't heard anything about this, Ron. I didn't realize he was out since August 11th, but apparently it's been a personal health issue, and he is being evaluated weekly. He is not on the injured reserve, so that's something. But if he doesn't play against Chicago, what would be your concern level?
5 out of 10. I'd be a little nervous, but again, Theo Jackson, Jay Ward, Josh Metellus, Bears, that front 7, I think they'd be okay. Harrison Smith is like they say, he's a ball hawk. He's a guy that gets everybody lined up. But again, I think Brian Flores has done enough with Theo Jackson, Jay Ward, and Josh Metellus that 5. I'm 5 out of 10. I don't know. What is your nervous level out of 10?
Yeah, well, I'm nervous for Harrison. I don't know what the personal health issue is, but I hope it's not something that lingers for him. I hope it gets rectified. I think they can survive on the back end with Metellus and Theo Jackson.
Right.
But I don't know, like, do they play someone else as a deep safety and they put Metellus in his usual role?
Yes. Theo Jackson would go back.
Yeah.
Theo goes back. Josh Metellus is a strong safety. He's not a free. So Josh Metellus stays in the box. Theo Jackson replaces Harrison Smith, and then Jay Ward now comes in and replaces Theo Jackson as the second safety to allow Josh Metellus to stay in the box.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it only takes one blow up to kind of wreck a game. If there's a misassignment, safety bites, and they were supposed to play deep, and Luther Burden gets over the top touchdown, well, that's a game changer. So I am nervous. I'm a 6. I'm a 6.5, maybe. If Harrison Smith doesn't play, you want to have your stalwart captain back there in the secondary. Maybe we'll get more info on that this week.
Yeah. So we'll see. But I'm Ron Johnson. That's Sam Extra. Thank you guys for joining us today on the Ron Johnson Show. Please remember, people, subscribe on YouTube. And also, when you subscribe to Locked On Sports Minnesota, you're getting endless Vikings talk with local experts. Subscribe to the free Locked On Sports Minnesota podcast feed wherever you find your podcast. And you can find our videos, as I said, on our YouTube channel. I want to thank you guys and have a great week. Go Gophers, Sky U Ma. Here we go.